Welcome to the Retro Video Store Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Retro Video Store Podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
And that's my co-host, Neil.
I'm Neil. And who is in Pensacola, Florida, watching guys do karate on the beach?
That would be David. Yeah, David.
And literally, he was out in Florida watching guys do karate on the beach.
Yeah, you tell the story.
So Dave sent us a picture of, he's like, hey, I'm out in Pensacola, Florida with a couple of days off, and there's a bunch of guys doing karate and shadow boxing on the beach. And before I could say it, Eric said it. And he was like, you should go down there and challenge their master.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some masturbation jokes started to fly in after that, like our conversations usually do.
And he was going to show him the art of shadow boxing, which I showed sent you a clip from a kung fu movie about shadow boxing. Yeah. I'm thinking a month from now, we're going to do Adult April, so we're going to watch erotic thrillers in April, but I'm thinking we should do Marshall May and just watch a bunch of kung fu movies in May. That'd be fun.
There's so many good ones to choose from.
We could do like Enter the 36th Chamber of Shaolin. We could do Snake and Eagle Shadow, Five Deadly Venoms,
Master of the Flying Guillotine,
Fist of Legend. We could do The Raid or The Raid 2.
Here's the problem with this only being recorded is because no one's going to get to see my basically perfect like Chinese guy overdubbed and like face movements. Damn it.
Yes.
No one's going to get to see that.
No master.
Yes. No one's going to get to see me go. No one's going to get to see that. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah. Only you get to enjoy it.
Yeah, I am enjoying it. So yeah,
you're welcome.
But today is the beginning of Monster March, where all month we're going to be talking about giant monster movies, and the first one is Godzilla versus Biollante, and it is I enjoyed it, but it's a little slow. Neil,
a little slow.
Yeah, it's a little.
That's. Yes, that would. Yeah, that's such a massive fucking understatement.
It was glacial, but we'll get to that. But Neil, we have fan mail this week.
Yeah, several. So let me see.
You want to start with our fan Jason?
You know what? I had that up. Okay, so Jason Rasmussen. He sent one that says, I went out to get the recipe for Skywalker scrunchies after Neil raved about them. Gonna try them out soon, even though I've been eating better. But I got to tell you, everything in there is good for you, except for maybe the sugar and the butter and the corn flakes and all the other great stuff. But anyway, he sent a link. Dude, I don't know the link. I am that recipe. He says, and you left off a good bowel movement movie from your list. Safety not guaranteed. He says he has listened to The Two Towers. Now he's on Dragon Slayer, and I rewatched it a few months back. And I couldn't help but see Peter McNichol as either the lawyer from Ally McBeal or the guy trying to bring back Vigo in Ghostbusters 2. And since Neil didn't get to read my email, here's a little something for him. And it's a Chuck Norris joke. Oh, Jason Rasmussen, you wonderful soul. When Chuck Norris swims in the ocean, he doesn't get wet. The ocean gets Chuck Norris. And he gets extra points because right at the bottom, he's got a great quote from Thomas Jefferson. It says, coffee, the favorite drink of the civilized world. And then he sends a second email, doesn't send us the cookies, but sends us pictures of the cookies. Oh, look at that. You see that? Those cookies?
They look pretty good.
Yeah, they turned out good. I would agree. They look like they turned out great. He's not used to flat cookies anymore, so he baked them a little too close, but they're pretty yummy, and the crunch adds some texture. Jason, pro move, man. When you bake them and they go together like that, that technically is one cookie.
That's true. So they are now melded together, so it only counts as one cookie. Yeah.
Yes, and the great thing about having those cookies now, like as a kid, that would have been, okay, I'm having it with milk, but obviously we look at the quote from Thomas Jefferson, a little coffee goes great with that. Or may I suggest Blanton's original single barrel, which is also really good, or W.I. Weller Special Reserve Bourbon, also very delicious with it. Not that I'm jonesing, but it is what it is. But I'm glad you tried those, and other people should follow your example, and they should have the Luke Skywalker scrunchies because they are damn good cookies. Damn good. And if you don't want them to spread out so much, freeze the butter first.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't bake very much, so I wouldn't know. I respect people who bake because it's a talent I just don't have. Anything I've ever tried to bake has not came out good. So it's the elevation maybe here.
Okay. I've been baked. It was an art school.
Baked, yeah, in Colorado. So we did get another fan email. This person sent us a text through Buzzsprout. If you're listening through our Buzzsprout site, you can send us direct text. And this one is from Carl from the UK. He said, "Great job, guys, for taking me back to movies from the past. I've been an avid listener for a few years now and look forward to each new episode. Keep up the good work, Carl from the UK." So thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Which leads me to believe wherever Carl is in the UK, there's fuck all going on if he's looking forward to what we're doing every week. So now we've heard from 50% of our listeners. We've heard from 2 of the 4. So the other 2 being completely silent, well, those guys can just go suck it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really don't want to talk about this boring ass movie, but I guess we can have to.
Well, I do have some diversions to talk about, even though I do have a lot to talk about Godzilla movies because I love to talk about Godzilla movies. I can go for hours.
No shit.
About Godzilla movies, but
yeah, that's what we were doing before we recorded too. Oh, thank
let's
God.
do what we always do. Neil, what did you watch this week? Not
much. I had to fly out. Had to spend time with Mom. Had to go see how she was doing. She's getting older. It's getting rough. The dementia. I've got people coming out to try to help her out, and it's just hard. She's starting to fall a lot. She's had gnarly back surgery, and it's just yeah. So there wasn't a lot watched this week. And then I get back, and then a friend of mine, a buddy that I play with, had brain surgery. So
real life is just is hitting you from all directions.
Real life sucks ass.
It does. Sorry about that.
So I landed on a Thursday. I landed on a Wednesday, late Wednesday night. Thursday morning, I went up and I just kind of hung out with him all day in the hospital. Came back and then made a butt ton of food and stuff for his family. Stuff that we could portion out and they could freeze, so they wouldn't have to, stress out about like meals and stuff for a while. Because unlike your friend, your tooth obsessed friend, I'm a nice guy. Mm-hmm. So once again,
she's a nice lady though.
She can suck it because she was already negative about the kind of people we are. And so came home and and who my wife helped too. There we go. Anyway, took a bunch of food over to him, and then the next day went over, mowed his lawns and stuff, took care of stuff outside of his house because he's not going to be able to do stuff like that for a while. So there's not been a ton of time for TV. So instead of spending time watching TV, what I did was I wanted to be super productive, and I downloaded retro video games. Not just retro videos, retro video games.
You showed me the game that you were playing, and I got jealous, and I almost downloaded it myself, but I haven't had time yet. You're playing the LucasArts X-Wing game.
Mm-hmm. Dude, $30 you can download all of them.
Was this on Steam?
Yep, it's on Steam.
Oh, awesome. What games came with it in addition to X-Wing?
X-Wing, the new X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, and then there was one other. I can't remember what it was, but they're all there. And they just didn't come. The only problem is they don't come with instructions for what what the keyboard stuff is.
I can still remember that you hit S for shields to move the shields back and front, and then there was a way to
F9, 10, and 11 was to allocate what was charging, like where you're sending the most energy to. Mm-hmm. And I was just, I was having myself a wonderful time. I ordered a joystick, like a flight control kind of joystick. Those have come a long way since 1997 because I don't play games on PC anymore, really. And my son has a gaming PC. And so we were in there and he was like, well, we'll try to assign these buttons, Dad. And he's trying to tell me how everything's going to work. And of course,
key bindings and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, really, really cool.
Really, yeah, it looked cool. It gave me a blast of nostalgia playing that seeing that because I used to play the shit out of that game. I mean, a lot. Hours and hours trying to recreate those different missions and then wind up dying right before you destroy the Death Star and they launch your body out into space and you're sad because you've wasted like 10 hours trying to get to it.
I'm totally going to waste time. Happily going to waste time.
Very nice. I look forward to hearing about that.
Oh, I'm going to be sending you video clips. I'll be talking to you the whole time just to make you a little jealous. Okay. You're going to freak out. What did you watch, Eric?
What did I watch this week? I went to the movies. I haven't been to the movies in a long time and watched the new Captain America, Brave New World. And I will have to say that it is a decent Marvel movie. I don't know why the critics are shitting all over it. And I actually thought it was better.
I sent you my theory. My theory of why they're shitting on it.
Yeah, a little tinge of something going on in the background there. But it was good. I mean, it wasn't like...
Were there maybe too many DEI hires on that set?
Yeah, I think that's probably why they were upset. Or some critics are upset about it. But it was perfectly good. I would say it's better than a lot of the Marvel movies that have come out lately. Better than Thor: Love and Thunder by far. Better than the Marvels. Better than, I would say, probably better than Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was better than Thor: The Dark World. The people say, "Oh, the Marvel movies are so great." Well, there's a lot of mediocre Marvel movies. People just remember the big ones, like your Infinity War and Endgame and Far From Home, and all those kind of other movies where everything comes together. But this one was perfectly fine, and I thought it was entertaining. I would watch it again if it comes on cable and stuff like that. So it was pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. The only thing that I will say that is kind of weird is that it throws back to the original Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton quite a bit. So you kind of have to remember a lot of shit that happened in that movie. in that movie, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It just throws back a lot to that stuff. So I don't want to spoil it, but I thought it was good. There were some links to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier plot lines and stuff. I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts too. So yeah, get me into the theater. I haven't been in a while. I actually thought it was better than Deadpool versus Wolverine. I was really underwhelmed by Deadpool and Wolverine. I just thought it was just like, meh. I don't know. Deadpool insists upon himself to me.
You shut your whore mouth. We don't allow talk like that in this house.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Deadpool fan. I mean, the first two movies were good. This one is, it was all right.
Okay, you're going to shit on Deadpool and Wolverine, but also, when this list was being made for what we were going to watch this year, I don't recall putting Godzilla versus Biollante on that list.
Well, it's Monster March.
Yeah.
And, the reason I put it on is that it was very hard to find for a long time.
That you're angry at me for some reason, that there's something I did back when we were in middle school or high school that you're still pissed about?
Well, it's been non-existent on streaming services until the Criterion Collection is starting to do new versions, better versions of these original Heisei era Godzilla movies. So they have Godzilla, the Return of Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Biollante, and Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah all on HBO Max, along with the original 17 Showa Godzilla movies. So let me wax a little bit about the different eras of Godzilla. All right. So
I don't know why you're asking. It's going to happen anyway. Let's go.
So there's 4 different eras of Godzilla. There is the Showa era, which is from 1954 to 1975, starting with Godzilla in 1954 and ending with the Terror of Mechagodzilla in 1975. So Godzilla went away for 9 years because the Terror of Mechagodzilla was a flop. So they decided to kind of put him away for a little bit. And the Terror of Mechagodzilla is not very good. Titanosaurus is in that one. The only good part about it is Godzilla goes completely ham on Mechagodzilla, and it's like he jumps and then he just starts punching him in the stomach and then he rips his head off. It's kind of cool. That part was the only part that was like worth it. Titanosaurus was there and it just didn't make any sense. So there was a period where there was no Godzilla movies, and then they did the Return of Godzilla in 1984, which introduced the Heisei era from 1984 to 1995, which includes the Return of Godzilla all the way to Godzilla vs. Destroya. We have done an episode on Godzilla vs. Destroya, which is really good. It's probably the best one of that era. There's the Millennium era, which was a response to the shitty TriStar Godzilla movie that we did a review in for Turkey Month.
Yeah.
With Godzilla 2000 all the way to Godzilla Final Wars. And they're pretty good. They're all over the place. There's no continuity in the Millennium era, whereas in the Heisei era, there is a continuity really starting with Godzilla versus Biollante all the way through Godzilla Destroy. There's kind of a, recurring characters and things like that are going on. And now we are in the Reiwa era that started with Shin Godzilla. There's Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, which is animated. City on the Edge of Battle, which is animated. The Planet Eater, which is animated. And then Godzilla -1, which just came out in the end of 2023. So that is the era that we're in right now. For all you Godzilla nerds. And probably the other people who immediately turned it off when I started. They're like, I'm going to skip this episode and turn it off. So,
yeah,
but we are in the Reiwa era.
So what
have I mentioned that I love Godzilla?
Let's no, really. I'm surprised. I'm shocked to learn this about you. What languages do I speak?
You speak English and Japanese. So I'm probably murdering the Japanese.
No. I want you to repeat after me. I want to teach you some Japanese. And if anybody out there speaks Japanese, I want you, maybe this might be vocabulary you don't know. Okay. Mm-hmm. Anata. Mm-hmm. Repeat. Anata.
Anata.
Wa.
Wa.
Anata wa.
Anata wa.
Otaka desu.
Otaka desu.
Otaku desu. Or you can say otaku desu.
Otaku desu.
Yes.
What did I just say?
Desu. What's something I would say to you? You are a nerd.
Yes, I am a nerd.
You would say watashi wa. You'd say I am. But this is something I would say to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anata wa otaku desu. Yes. You are.
I have a very, as if you've listened to our previous Godzilla episodes, which we've done a few, I was raised on Godzilla as a child, and he was my hero, and I aspired to be Godzilla. I love Godzilla. I even posted a meme, and it says, a guy looking into the mirror, you and the man that you want to be, and it's a picture of Godzilla.
You, Godzilla. Yeah. Yeah, my wife alerts me. Eric posted something. It's really nerdy. You got to see it. All right, let me look.
Yeah, so I love me some Godzilla.
I like the fact that you still unabashedly post on Facebook. I lurk on Facebook. I look at recipes. I look to see what other people are doing. I still love that you just fully embrace the Facebook still.
I know. I don't know. I like to overshare in my life. So I just do. I'm an oversharer. Mm-hmm. It's one of my faults is probably oversharing. But that's the way I roll. So let's talk about Godzilla versus Biollante. I agree with you that it is pretty boring. I will say that The Return of Godzilla, which came out in 1984, was also pretty boring as well. But I enjoyed it as a kid because as a kid, it was put out as Godzilla in 1985, and they did the same thing they did with Godzilla King of the Monsters. They edited it and added Raymond Burr. And for some reason, there's Dr. Pepper product placement in NORAD or whatever. They're sitting in, there's just a Dr. Pepper machine just sitting in the corner at NORAD where they're watching Godzilla stomp Tokyo.
I enjoy me a good Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. And as a early nerd, when I had like AOL, on AOL, then I had Netscape, there was a website called StompTokyo.com. It probably doesn't exist, but that was like the first fan website that I ever saw. And it had updated news about Godzilla and sound clips and really primitive video clips of Godzilla. And that's when I learned that there was actually a whole different series of Godzilla movies that I had never seen. Because I was aware of Godzilla in 1985, and I thought that's just where it ended. And then there was a whole bunch that were released in Japan that weren't even released in America. And Godzilla vs. Biollante came out in December of 1989, but it wasn't released until on video until November of 1992, which I included the box art. Do you remember this box?
It looked like it was going to be great. It looked like it was going to be epic. It was none of those. Stomp Tokyo still exists.
Really?
Yes, B Movies, Godzilla, and Video Cheese since 1996. So yeah, we got Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, Attack of the 50-Foot DVD. What do we get? Which is Black Dynamite 2009. That movie is amazing. If you haven't seen it,
I have seen that one. Pretty good.
Oh my God, that's so good. Moon 2009. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff on here. Stomp Tokyo still exists.
Wow. I hadn't thought about it until we were just talking about Godzilla here. And I go, that was one of my favorite websites is when I started watching checking out the internet. The other one was rotten.com, which was ruined the brains of many people back in the day. I remember he would like show dead bodies and crime scene photos and all sorts of awful stuff. That was one of those things that it seemed really scandalous back in the unmonitored web days. That was one of those things you're like, holy shit. It was awful. Probably scarred for life from after seeing that.
Yeah. I really think you're giving people a deep dive into how you are now and how you got there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I overshare.
I was going to say this again. The overshare.
I'm an open book. I'm an open book, people. I'll tell you what's going on. the Godzilla vs. Biollante. You want to hit us with the Internet Movie Database tagline, which is fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Much like the film. Desolate by the loss of his daughter, a geneticist creates a monstrous new mutation. You think in 1989, I'm going to jump to like one of the biggest issues I have with this. You think that in 1989, they could have had a better animation of her soul leaving Biollante?
That was super cheesy.
Rather than like a glamour shot with some little sparkle effects, whoop, straight up. And if you'd have blinked, you're like, who the hell was that?
I saw it when I first saw the movie. It's like, okay, interesting choice, director. And there was also a scene where they're fighting one of the rival corporate espionage people, and they hit him over the head, and it goes boing. Did you see that? Yes. I'm like, I was also all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is this screenplay was part of a contest held by Toho Studios in 1985, where the person could send in their concept, and this was the winning concept. But it was delayed with rewrites from 1985 until 1989, and this is what they came up with.
In 4 years, this was the best thing that they could do for us.
All right, so I'm going to tell a harsh truth about a lot of Godzilla movies.
Hold on. Let me move to the edge of my chair. Let me move up here to the edge of my seat. I want to be on the edge of my seat for this because this might be something I've never considered, known, or heard before. Let's go.
A lot of them are kind of boring until you get to the monster scenes.
Wow, that was the most disappointing bit of news.
But I watched some of them, and I'm just like, whew, this is a tough sit. Like Godzilla, the Return of Godzilla is good because it's nice to see Godzilla again. But if you look at the suit is not bad. It's way better than like the 70s Godzilla suit, but he's got these goofy eyes. He has white in his eyes, so there's his pupils and there's the whites of his eyes, and he looks like he's something's wrong with him. Just if you look at Godzilla 1984 suit, and he has this. If you look at the eyes, he's got a kind of a weird mouth. He just doesn't look right. I mean, it's better than say Godzilla from 1974, but it just doesn't really look correct. There's a website called Becoming Godzilla where you can compare each suit. Yeah. If you look at 1980s, you can look at Godzilla versus Biollante. It's called Biogoji is the suit. He looks much better. He's got more of like a feline expression. He's got kind of a snout. He's got little tiny ears. He's got rows of teeth. Instead of just one row of teeth, he's got, several rows of teeth. His eyes are more forward, and he doesn't have the whites of his eyes anymore. So it's a little bit more cool looking.
I like the ones you can see the whites of his eyes because the eyes look like they're going out in the opposite directions.
It's the directions. Yes, exactly. That's the problem with the other Godzilla with the whites in his eyes. He looks like he's, he looks like Biggie Smalls. More monsters, more problems.
The 10 Godzilla commandments. I would say that this suit is probably the little tiny nubby baby teeth of all the Godzilla costumes.
The Biollante suit or the 1984 suit?
No, the 84 suit.
Yeah, it's a little. I do like the Biollante suit because he has more like expression. Like when the Biolante's coming at him with the tentacles, he kind of pulls his head back, like what the fuck, and he gives like what's going on here?
All of a sudden, Godzilla grew up in our neighborhood. The fuck?
What's going on? Yeah, he does move his. So go to becominggodzilla.com and you can see the evolution of every Godzilla suit. I do love Biogoji from 1989. The 1991 suit may be my favorite from Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. I think it's the perfect combination of 1984 and 1989. This is fucking nerdy. I know it. People are probably turning off. Any female listeners have probably their lady bits have frozen over and they have turned to different podcasts.
Do you think that this podcast makes the lady bits not get frozen over?
Yeah, even more.
Even more so, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
no, I think you've started to out nerd the nerds. And here's the disturbing thing, and I'm going to share this with all 4 of our listeners. When Eric starts rattling off these facts, he's not glancing. He's not glancing at anything else. He's not looking off at his screen. He's staring straight forward into the camera. This shit is locked inside his head.
Yes.
Anybody, you can say what you want about, I don't know, Chuck Norris jokes or anything like that, but this goes to a whole nother level because let's say you and I are at an adult function, okay? And there's other adults there. If I get locked into a corner full of people and I start rattling off Chuck Norris jokes, no one's going to feel sad. They're just going to be like, okay, those were funny. He took it a little bit too far, but that's just what he does. If you got over there and you started rattling off facts about Godzilla, they would just like that poor little man.
Bless his wife. So the Godzilla suit from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah is the Gido Goji suit, and I think it's the best one. Godzilla vs. Destroyer is when it has the meltdown suit. It's also pretty damn cool. The steam coming off it and everything like that. But yeah, becominggodzilla.com.
No, I'm looking at it right now. You can look at Godzilla costumes by year. Holy crap. Okay, I will say that it's got kind of like an Indian deity feel to it when you click on the Godzilla designs by year, because they got the Godzilla in the middle and all the Godzillas look like they're coming off of him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Godzilla -1. That's so far.
That's probably the one in the 2020s. Yep, there it is.
Good.
Yeah, that's probably the best design overall. But if you look at different eras, I would say Godzilla -1 is way better than the MonsterVerse Godzilla. He just looks way more cool, especially when he's like damaged and he's healing himself and regenerating and stuff. I think that the MonsterVerse Godzilla is too chunky. Something wrong. He looks too, especially in 2014 Godzilla, he looks too chunky.
You're Godzilla shaming.
I don't want to fat shame Godzilla, but yeah. Let's get those thighs. Godzilla thighs. So Godzilla versus Biollante. Let's get into the heart of the movie.
No, let's just talk about the website. I think that's far. Oh my God. Mire Goji. He just looks. Look at those teeth.
Which one? Which year?
This one is 1999. As it fights beasts from outer space. Godzilla 2000 Millennium. Godzilla returns from the grave.
Yeah, he looks like almost frog-like to me in that one. He looked like that for 2 movies. He looked like that in Godzilla 2000 and Godzilla versus Megaguirus. And then they decided to go back to a more traditional Godzilla outfit design starting with GMK, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. Holy shit, I'm so...
Yep. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about. The first step, Eric, is admitting you have a problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's got to be other people like me out there who enjoy Godzilla as much, who know so much about the lore.
I just picture you going door to door. Would you like to learn about Godzilla?
That's the only god I would go prologue.
I know, see?
Would you like to learn about our Lord and Savior, Godzilla? Yeah. Directed by Kazuki Omori. Screenplay by Kazuki Omori. Omori. Probably not Amore. Omori. Am I supposed to say that right?
Yeah. Amore is when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
Pizza pie, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Amore. This Amori. Yep. You got it, though. You're doing good. Mm. Anything to keep you from spewing off facts.
You make a monster filled with dread because your daughter is dead. That's Amore. Yeah.
Boy, giving up my Sunday night for this. All right, let's go.
So this is the second of the Heisei era Godzilla movies. I like the beginning. It starts out kind of cool because they talk about the alert levels that
was so fucking stupid with the G just kind of floating around there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that was almost as lame as them still doing like those battlefield things with the little, I don't know, like Monopoly pieces on it, like you would see in like 1950s.
Yeah,
and they've got all this mega. Oh, they can make the X2 fly around. They can have the synthetic diamonds, but they still got to put down a little stupid ass G and move it around a board.
Like Risk, playing Risk or something.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It is so hard to not do this with a Japanese accent. It is so
Same
hard.
Here. I'm fighting it.
It is
fighting it too.
So hard. Yeah. Yes. And it does not hurt that I was talking to friends in Japan not too long before we recorded this.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, you basically want to know what I'm doing. It's like, oh, we're going to go talk about Godzilla on the podcast. And Hirafumi's exact response was, why?
Because he's awesome. Come on. So I do, like I mentioned, I do like the design of Godzilla. There's only one problem, is that his lower lip, or the bottom is, his lower jaw looks kind of like it's just on a hinge.
It reminds me of those things you could get at like roadside stores, where you could get, when we were kids, you go on a road trip, like get authentic Indian merchandise, but there would always be like the little dinosaur on a plastic stick, and you'd squeeze a trigger and the bottom thing would go, go. Yeah.
a little too much like that.
Yes.
Especially, I mean, he looked really cool coming out of the volcano, and he looked the scale and everything looked really good, except for when he opened his mouth, it looked like the trigger dinosaur on the stick that you get at the at Stuckey's or something.
Ooh, look who knows so much and had to reference Stuckey's. All right, let's go.
So it's got your favorite thing.
No. Best snack at Stuckey's, hands down. What is it?
You said it's like the peanut roll or something.
The pecan log.
Pecan log, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Mm-hmm. I think I've had one a long time ago. I haven't been anywhere where there is a Stuckey's anymore. Now it's Buc-ee's. It seems like Buc-ee's is everywhere, and Stuckey's is dead.
I haven't seen a Stuckey's in a while.
Yeah, but there's a cult around Buc-ee's. They're supposed to be building one north of Colorado Springs, and people are protesting because they'll bring down the property values and stuff. So, because there's like a monster gas station.
I don't know.
If it doesn't have also burritos, I don't want to go.
Oh my God. I tried to introduce my child to those when we were last out in Oklahoma, driving in back to New Mexico. And I'm like, dude, here's an Allsup's. Let's stop. He goes, what do we want to stop there? I'll show you. And they have that glorious hot case.
Oh yeah.
Just all right there.
And it smells like fried, like grease.
Yes. And you can tell that grease has been gone on way too long, but that's the joy of it. And I'm like, this is right here. This is what I'm going to get. So I start picking and he goes, oh, which one are you going to eat? Oh, I'm not just eating one, my child. I'm going to eat one of every kind there is here.
You got to get the chimichanga. You got to get the bean burrito.
Preach.
You got to get the egg, the breakfast one. Oh, yes. And then they have the little, they have like some sort of, like taquitos. They have fried taquitos as well. God damn.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
And then they got the Allsup's. They have the Allsup salsa in the pack. You got to get those too.
Yeah.
And those are fun because you got to try to crack those open with your teeth and put them on there while you're driving.
Like driving. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. And you know what?
All of this, New Mexico.
All of New Mexico. So good. All of this way better than this movie.
Another New Mexico delicacy is the A&W drive-through in Aztec, New Mexico. They make the best taquitos ever. They're so good.
I had some the last time I was there, and I thought it was. I didn't think it was as good.
Oh, that's sad. They used to be really good back in the day. I hate when the quality drops off. But it's still open. The drive-in.
7-Eleven in Cuba is not there anymore.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, no, it's gone, dude. I'm sitting there as we're driving, telling my kid, like, this is the best ever. We're going to stop into this place. Then I go past it. It's not there. The teepees, remember the teepees? You could stop, pee at the teepees. Yeah. Totally fenced off. And then there's like a little casino thing just to the north of it. Again, so sad.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Yeah.
All right.
All of these memories better than this movie.
The crux of the movie is that there is a race between different nations to harvest Godzilla cells, just pieces of his tissue that have been, rubbed off onto different things as he attacked in the previous movie. There's a lot of like sort of corporate espionage going on with the Republic of Saradia, the fictional Middle East Republic of Saradia, with the sort of Middle Eastern looking guy who is basically a Japanese guy with a beard on and dark hair.
And a lot of Japanese people working at that lab in Saradia, by the way.
So everybody's trying to get these Godzilla cells and profit off of them. Saradia kidnaps or convinces the scientist to go there so they can make the desert plentiful by combining Godzilla cells with plant cells to make super plants. And then there's there's a terrorist bombing. His daughter Erica gets killed, and is an act of grief. He splices Godzilla cells from a rose and his daughter's cells together and creates the unholy abomination called Biollante.
Yeah,
just like one would want to do.
Yeah, where'd your grief take you? Weirdest thing. You know what? The grief counselor talked about journaling. They talked about group, but I took myself straight to the lab. I had some flowers just kind of hanging around because, who doesn't like fresh flowers? Some Godzilla cells, wacky, hold on, and a chunk of my daughter. And I thought, what's the worst that could happen? I could make one of the lamest enemies ever that really just kind of stands there and just whips around its appendages at him.
Yeah, the first stage of Biollante.
That's got how embarrassing is it got to be for Godzilla to fucking lose that fight, to get some stuff through your hand, to get bitten, when all it is it reminds me, you ever have a slap fight with your sibling where you just kind of do that routine? That's what that reminded me of. Just stand off for about a quarter mile and just keep blasting him with nuclear breath until he's toast.
Yeah. Don't let him get close to you. Play the distance game. So this movie introduces Miki, the telepathic girl with the big ears.
The Japanese Psionic Center.
Yes, the Japanese Psionic Center. The Miki Sakusa. She is a character in every subsequent Godzilla movie through this period. She's in all of them, and with varying, returns on, the size of her part is in the movies is different in every one of them. In Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, she's probably has the biggest, role in that one. But she is in this one, and she is at the Japanese Psionic Center. And I thought it was cool when they asked, "Hey, kids, what did you dream about last night?" Because these kids are all telepathic. And they all put up their little pictures of Godzilla. And they're like, "Oh, shit, Godzilla's coming." I didn't see any of the blue kids from Akira in this movie.
Godzilla and Biollante aren't monsters. It's the unscrupulous scientists who create them that are the monsters.
Exactly. That's a trend. After he does that, do you call this science? The Ceradian agent just keeps showing up. There's like tons of chase scenes and other things that really don't mean shit. And Godzilla finally shows up 35 minutes into the movie after the U.S. is a bad guy in this one. The bio people from the U.S. said, "Hey, either give us the G cells or we're going to blow up the volcano and have Godzilla show up again." It turns all topsy-turvy, and then it happens. Godzilla is out. And yeah, I even wrote that down. Godzilla's suit is great. Only issue is the lower jaw, which we've talked about already. And Biollante is just pathetic to me. It looks like he just wants to die. So I can hear Biollante screaming. What is he saying? "Kill me. Please.
End the pain.
And please, kill me." And in Godzilla, the Return of Godzilla, the Japanese army, Japanese Godzilla Defense Force has a little floating ship called the Super X, which subsequently or immediately gets blown up by Godzilla in that movie. But this time it returns as the Super X2, and it immediately gets blown up by Godzilla. They even have a diamond mirror, which is supposed to be able to absorb Godzilla's breath and reflect it back at him. Didn't work.
For a bit. I mean, it works better than everything else they throw at him.
Yeah.
And it's the same recurring theme. Let me see. Let's keep a list of what does not work against Godzilla. And then what we'll do is we'll try it again with just a little more of it.
Yeah, pretty much. He's the king. You can't kill the king. I do. I said Godzilla is facing more tentacles than an anime schoolgirl. It was part of my comments.
How gross and inappropriate.
Yeah, I know. He also spits acid on Godzilla. Godzilla takes him out pretty easy. Hits him with the fire breath, and the giant petals just fall off, and he turns into glitter, or she turns into glitter and floats up into the air. And then Godzilla's like, "Well, I'm going to start rampaging, doing what I normally do, on a Tuesday, stomp all over different cities." Miki, the psychic girl, tries to reroute him.
What was it the doctor said? "I think now I might have made a mistake." Some shit like that.
Yeah. Really? You think so? Fusing your dead daughter's cells with a Rose and Godzilla cells?
There were a few lines in this that just I enjoyed. The one guy, "God damn it, it's Godzilla." Like, what better reaction do you have? God damn it.
Damn it, it's Godzilla.
It's Godzilla again. Here it is. I think now I might have made a mistake. So good.
Did you notice
so
they
good.
went to the Seradia lab in Japan, and on the sides of the helmets it said Saladia? Did you notice that?
I did. I got quite a giggle when we were watching this.
Yes.
I just want to talk about things that I actually enjoyed about this movie.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so they are setting up their little traps. All right, and so we've got the whole thing like we're going to show like our guys, they're efficient, man. Look at these guys, they're badasses, they're efficient. Look at all the shit they're setting up. Look at all the things they're doing. Too bad none of it's going to work. But you got the dumbasses with like basically the bazookas things going up into the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that one guy who's just doing that whole cheese ball, routine. He's making his poses and smiling and looking back. And then, what is it like? All this intravenous stuff is no good for you. Stick to smoking. And then it just knocks the whole fucking building down after that.
Yeah, kills him immediately.
He's sitting there fooling around, and a giant, how tall, like monster basically literally sneaks up on him. And there's people like, hey, Godzilla, right behind you. Like it's a surprise. Like, what? He's here?
This is a reoccurring theme in all the movies of this era, is that he stares at people through a building and then wipes out the building, either by just turning around and whipping his tail like the girl in the hospital in GMK, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, where she's like screaming and Godzilla decides to turn around and you're like, oh, he saved her, she's saved, and then his tail just whips through the window and kills her. Yeah, happens quite a bit. Another thing that always happens in Godzilla movies is they bring out the Maser cannon. The most useless defense tool ever. They shoot these weird little lasers at Godzilla that never work. He always melts them. They always roll them out. I will say I did like the miniature work in this movie, the buildings, the matte paintings.
Yeah, I was getting ready to talk about that. I wonder if you've got like, the old wizened, miniature maker and like the young guy wanting to get into it. And he just looks at him and goes, we're going to put explosives and blow this thing up in about 5 minutes, man. You do not need to put this much effort into it. Just slap a little hot glue on it and then let it go out there.
So the actor in the suit plays Godzilla through the entire Heisei period. He was like an apprentice during the original Godzilla run, and he played all the bad guy monsters. And he got the torch passed to him to be Godzilla in these movies. And there's like cool pictures of him, and he's like sweats off all these, like pounds of sweat every day that he's got the suit on. And, I just love Man in Suit. It's awesome.
What was the monster I sent you the video of? The
Baragon.
Baragon, the woman who was jumping in there. That audio was the best.
Yeah, she's crying and she's making the noises through the suit.
You could, so they don't have the monster audio, but it's like stuff from on scene, and she's just like, rah. It's this tiny little lady inside the suit. She had style when she got into that. She just kind of ran up and then jumped into it with two guys holding it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I still love that. The handmade quality of everything. Like we talked about the miniatures, the guys in the suits and everything. And it's so much fun to me. And even though Godzilla -1 had amazing CGI, won an Oscar for Best Special Effects, which is totally deserved, and that one is really good, I still enjoy good old man in suit Godzilla or person in suit Godzilla action. The people that we talked about with the rocket launchers in the buildings, they have A and B missiles, anti-nuclear energy bacteria, which is supposedly supposed to kill Godzilla from the inside if you raise his temperature.
Yeah. Oh. But they didn't account that Godzilla really likes the water.
Yeah. So during the part 2 Biollante fight, they're trying to throw everything at Godzilla to get him all riled up in his temperature to rise to kill him. And after he finally, Biollante does a number on him with the tentacles and stabbing him in the hand and puking all this glitter on him, and he finally shoots Biollante in the mouth with his heat ray and kills her. And like Neil said, this cheesy as hell, like glamour shot picture of Erica, the deceased daughter, floats up into the sky, and yeah, it was not great.
Now I think I would have made a mistake. So, quick confession: I did not read through these show notes like at all. And then I was thinking to myself, geez, I wonder if there is a top 10 list of Godzilla movies at the end of this thing. So yeah, and it did not disappoint. You know, what I am shocked about was that there was no critical consensus with this.
Oh yeah, I didn't include the critical consensus.
Yeah.
That's weird.
But you know what? Do we need it really? I don't
Not really.
Not for this one.
Yeah, there is a critical response. Godzilla vs. Biollante has received positive reviews with praise for the story, music, and visuals. The
music, it was a bunch of like weird, nonsensical, like slap bass.
Yeah, there was a lot of like Japanese video game music where it's like a lot of like guitars and slap bass and other things of that kind of that era. Yeah. Most of these reviews are not from like legitimate reviewers. They're all from like Godzilla fan sites. Ed Golowitzki from Monster Zero says, for the first time in over 20 years, Godzilla script is presented with some fresh original ideas and themes. Joseph Savitsky from Beyond Hollywood said the film's music is a major detraction, but he added it's not only one of the most imaginative films in the series, but also the most enjoyable to watch. I will disagree on that one. In their scholarly book on kaiju cinema, Japanese Green Monsters, Rhodes and McCorkle offer an eco-critical assessment of Godzilla vs. Biollante. Scholars focus on the script's critique of genetic engineering and biotechnology years before the subject appeared in more popular Hollywood blockbusters like Jurassic Park. In 2014, in a poll by the Nihon Eiga Satellite Broadcasting Corporation, Godzilla vs. Biollante was selected as the best Godzilla film by a group of fans and judges. Rotten Tomatoes approval rating of 71% based on 7 reviews. 5 out of 10. Yeah. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's not Son of Godzilla calling Monster Island. It's not the worst. The special effects are pretty dang cool. The miniatures, explosions, everything like that is done really, really well. There's just not enough of it. There's not enough of it to detract from the slow parts with the humans. And that has always been my major gripe with Godzilla movies, is like, I didn't watch this movie to hear about people. I want to see some giant monsters fighting each other. The exception is Godzilla -1. That one, the human story is just as good as the monster story. And that, that fits pretty well. But in this one overall, it is, I hate to say it, boring. But I'll still rather watch a Godzilla movie than a lot of other movies. I'll sit through a boring Godzilla movie rather than watch some awful TV series.
I will fast forward through a Godzilla movie just to watch the smashing and the stomping.
Yeah, that I would say that is worth it to fast forward. Get to the action. It starts pretty late. It's too little too late by the end of the movie when you see the glamour shot photo shoot up into the air. Godzilla collapses and then gets cooled down by the ocean water, then swims off.
I find impressive is how often missiles just wing right past him. He's really the only thing standing that tall and moving.
Yeah.
And
he's
green.
80 meters tall.
Yeah.
Pretty wide.
And then just the missiles going right past him.
But thanks for listening, everybody. We are going to do Alligator from 1980, I think is the year it came out. The really cheesy giant alligator movie that is pretty fun. I have not seen it in a while.
I'm surprised that you gave Godzilla's height in communist measurements, and you didn't give it in freedom units, which would be feet.
Meters to feet. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 260 feet.
Ooh, good. Pretty good. Thanks. Oh, my top 10. As of...
This is where Neil sighs and says the words "God damn it" under his breath. All right, no, hey, let's hear the top 10. Let's go.
As of February 23rd, 2025, my top 10 Godzilla movies are Godzilla -1 at number 1.
Good choice. I like that one. Good,
Yep.
good.
Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, 1974.
You lost me.
Guest star King Caesar. King Caesar. Shin Godzilla number 3. Godzilla vs. Megalon, which is a childhood favorite of mine because it's got Jet Jaguar. Puncha, puncha, puncha. Godzilla vs. Destroyer. The original Godzilla from 1954 is number 6. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah number 7. Godzilla Final Wars number 8. Godzilla GMK. Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All Out Attack is number 9. And Godzilla Tokyo SOS is number 10. They can move around, just depending on my mood. But that's my top 10 as of 8:30 on the 23rd of February. Yeah. If you would like your email or message read on the air, send it to us. rvspodcast222@gmail.com. We are also on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, Blue Sky, and you can go directly to our Buzzsprout podcast page and send us a message like Carl from the UK did, and we'll gladly read it. And we're thinking about Marshall May. If so, you have any ideas about great martial arts movies, send them to us so we can kind of narrow down what we're going to watch in May when it comes to martial arts movies.
Dude, we already got rid of some really great Silent Rage. We already went right past that.
Well, we did Silent Rage. We've done Bloodsport.
I know.
We've done Enter the Dragon. We've done some martial arts movies. We haven't done as many as I'd imagine we would. We were going to do Kickboxer, but I think we had a delay in that one because we had sickness going around or something. So we'll have to push that one back. With Van Damme.
Not going to do the Karate Kid.
We did do the Karate Kid.
Oh, we did. Oh, God damn it, we did.
We did the Karate Kid. We did the Karate Kid Part 2. What about Karate Kid Part 2 for some unknown reason is one of our most popular popular episodes. Which astounds me.
Have we done 3?
No, we have not. I refuse to do 3. That is just bad. The series went off the rails there. I saw a preview at the movie theater for like another Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio in it together. How like Karate Kid Legends or something.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing to be Ralph Macchio next to someone who at his advanced age can move like Jackie Chan.
Yeah. Ralph Macchio is pretty old too, though. He's up there. I think he's in his probably late 50s or something.
I don't know. But I mean, seriously, and again, I will say it many, many, many times. If you're going to get hired to be in a movie and you're supposed to know some karate, you're supposed to know some martial arts, go train. Look like you know what you're doing. Much respect, Keanu Reeves, going and doing some jujitsu. I appreciate the hell out of that.
Yeah, commitment to the character.
And like Ralph Macchio for the last 5-6 years has been playing this role again in that Netflix series. I tuned in to watch a little bit, and doesn't look like he's taken one single lesson. Poor Mr. Miyagi is just spinning in his grave.
Yeah. All right, next week we're doing Alligator. Check it out. I think it is on Tubi to watch if you want to do that, and send us an email or a message. We'll read it on the air. We appreciate you listening.
Send us a cup of coffee.
Yeah, go to buymeacoffee.com, look up the Retro Video Store, and you can buy us a cup of coffee, contribute to this program. Keep us going. And thanks a lot to everybody who's listened. We've had some pretty good downloads this month, so appreciate it.
I have not even looked at the numbers, honestly.
Not too bad. All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Yeah, everybody have a really good week.
Thank you for listening to the Retro Video Store Podcast.